Dan,
Yes.
record numbers last week.
Good week last week.
Very, very good week. Was it? Do you think it was to do with the flunker?
It was 100% funniest intro we've ever done.
I think it was because you were angry. Like,
Nah.
I think it was because you were angry.
Nah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Gee, get angry, Dan.
I am angry. This was a rubbish weekend of football.
Well, yeah, and it's highlighted. I know you've got it. You don't have it on here, so I'm going to bring this in.
Please.
Without you going. The try or no try?
No try.
Try. All right, now that we've got that out of the way.
Moving on.
Shane Richardson has said that there's a refereeing bias. Now, I completely agree with Shane Richardson on this. I tweeted it out. There were a couple of scenarios and incidents where we've seen the Tigers be penalised and other teams not. And the scenario that I tweeted out was Braden Trindle kicked the ball against the Dragons. He was hit by Damien Cook.
Yep.
He hit the ground.
Yep.
No penalty was given. Now, if you go the play-by-play, the exact play-by-play the week before to Jerome Luai on Blaise Talangi, it was a penalty. Now, people have shown previous ones of Jerome Luai doing that in a Penrith jersey on a Melbourne player.
Yep.
Need I remind you that that was in Melbourne?
Oh, yeah.
Melbourne were top of the ladder.
Oh.
You can't tell me that the teams going into games that are inferior are refereed differently, but the Tigers over the years have been completely and uncategorically refereed different.
Certainly looks like it. And then you get the referees come out and say, nope, he's 100% right in the decision. Less than a week later, Thursday night, you see the hit, we're calling the game live. Has to be a penalty, right? Nope. And then the NRL will come out today, by the time this publishes got it right, because he wasn't wearing a Tigers jersey. Shane Richardson had every right to say what he did, and he's absolutely statistically proven correct. Yet they will fine him, and they will say, you can't say that. Okay, Shane Richardson can't. We sure as hell can. The lower teams are refereed differently, whether subconsciously. I'm not saying it's on purpose for a single second. No one cheats. They're just terrible at their job.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that the referees go out there and go, I'm going to make the Tigers' life hell. What I'm saying is if you flip that situation, it was Blaise Talangi hitting Jerome Luai, that's not a penalty.
More than likely. And you'll hear people scream, oh, how dare you make that accusation. If you gave me enough time, I could give you 50 such occurrences.
Yeah, and then you've got the 3 consecutive sin bins.
Yep.
That was the 3 consecutive 6 agains. That's a mandatory sin bin that literally happened a day later.
It did. And you know what the NRL said? Oh, it wasn't all ruck infringements. It's got
Doesn't
3
matter.
ruck infringements.
No.
I think they've made that up just quietly when they've seen the error the next day.
What about the soft whistle on the full time up in the Cowboys where they got the penalty shot at goal after full time?
Oh, look. That was the worst decision of all time. We recorded a video in reaction to that. That's how bad that was. Because we don't usually do that. We don't feel bad for the Tigers. The fact that we are sitting here, and if you like the Tigers, please subscribe.
Yeah.
Are sitting here and are protecting the Tigers, that says it all. And it's not just them, it's all the low-down teams. Yeah. The terrible teams like the Dragons and Manly.
Now, I'm glad you said that. People will come and say, but it was a Dragon that hit a Shark. This is a local derby. On Thursday night, it looked like you really had to decapitate someone to give a penalty away.
That shot was on. I got no problem with it.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Neither of those were penalties.
Nope, 100% agree.
But if you're going to call one a penalty, you've got to call both.
If anything, theirs was worse because Talangi hadn't kicked the ball yet.
Yeah.
Whereas Trindle did. Again, I'm not saying either should be a penalty.
No.
Both were genuine tackles. Perfect.
Because on the flip side of that, if Blake Brayley had done that to Kyle Flanagan, I would have loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it shouldn't have been a penalty.
No, of course not.
But yeah, I definitely think that...
Isn't it funny that we're seeing people that don't... Like Shane Richardson, you couldn't pick him out of it normally.
So
he's come out and said something. Gus Gould comes out and says something about Campbell Graham. I'll throw to you.
What I was going to say is that they're looking into Shane Richardson and his comments, yet Gus Gould's on there slamming the referees. Nothing.
That's...
Again, big club.
Yep, 100%. Big club.
Now, Jerome Luai has been called into the New South Wales squad. Unfortunately, Mitch Moses injured.
Again.
And looks like he's going to be out till round 21.
That you can't take a trick.
Good.
Origin 3.
Yeah.
Gornskis.
So Jerome Luai has been called into the Blues squad and he's leapfrogged Matt Burton. Matt Burton stays as 18th man.
Yep.
and Jerome Luai goes straight into the Blues number 6. Now, before I throw to you, because you are the New South Wales fan on this side of the podcast, I think this is the smart move, right? Matt Burton is the 18th man for a reason because he can play lock. You could throw him as an edge back rower. At a pinch, he could play hooker.
Centre.
Halves, centre, right? And there was rumours that he was going to play fullback, so you can't tell me he hasn't trained there.
Spot on.
And the class of Matt Burton, he won a premiership in the centres. You can't tell me he couldn't play on the wing for 15 minutes either.
100% correct.
Whereas Jerome Luai is a half.
Yep.
And a half only.
Yep.
Now, he has the combination with Nathan Cleary that won how many premierships?
4 straight.
4 straight premierships.
5 straight grand finals.
5 straight grand finals, 4 premierships. Will never play finals again, though. And he's he's won Origin Series as well as the number 6.
Last year he was exceptional.
With Mitchell Moses.
Yep.
This is his chance to come in and do it with Nathan Cleary, though, and I think this is the right time for Luai to come in. One, to get his confidence back, because he hasn't been real good for the Tigers this year, and people are starting to question him.
True.
But the other thing as well is this Queensland team is diabolical, and he's going to run straight through them.
Everything you said,
I'll throw it to you.
100% correct. I saw Bulldogs fans blowing up. You pick Burton in the 18. Okay, you put Luai in the 18, you cover 2 positions. You pick Burton there, you cover 6 or 7, as rattled off correctly by yourself. This is the smartest move Laurie Daly could have made. Now, if that had happened on day 1, you can probably think about it. Okay, do we look at Burton? We'll bring Luai in and we'll make adjustments. But short, and it is a relatively short turnaround. Let's not beat around the bush here. Mitch Moses was fantastic and played an exceptional role beside Nathan Cleary in game 1. I have no doubt if he turns up in game 2, they celebrate a series win. You want the quickest plug and play. It's the bloke that stood next to him while they lifted 4 straight titles in a row. I'm not particularly huge on Jerome Luai. This year, I don't think he's playing particularly well. But his stats are comparable with Matt Burton, and Matt Burton is leading the competition, and Luai's running whatever. That's what Bulldogs fans are pointing to, going, we won more games, which factually correct. You look at the try assist, you look at the kick meters, you look at everything. There's not that big a difference. You plug and play. Okay, if they win this game, and let's face it, they should, play Burton in game 3. Put him in front of his home fans. He's earned an Origin spot. He's an Origin level player. But in the situation, I think Laurie Daly's nailed it, and that's come from a proud Laurie Daly hater. Let's be honest. I don't think he should be in the job. But
now, if it wasn't going to be Jerome Luai, I'm going to give you one option here. You can only pick one of these 2.
Yep.
Luke Metcalf or Isaiah Katoa.
Isaiah Katoa. All day, every day. More on that in a minute.
Isn't he great?
You want to go straight into that?
I do.
Let's do it.
Let's go straight.
Your boys,
the Dolphins, mate. 170 points or something in 3 games.
They are ridiculous.
Back-to-back 50-pointers.
Are they for real?
Yeah, I think they are for real. Yeah. I think Christian Wolf has found some combinations, and you've got to have a look at. He just lost Max Plath to an ACL.
Yeah.
Tom Gilbert, who is absolutely outstanding, he can't stay fit.
No,
they haven't had Thomas Flegler in God knows how long.
It'd be 18 months or 12 months at least.
Saifidi hasn't played a game.
No, Kafusi keeps getting suspended.
Yeah. But you know what? He's playing out of his skin.
He is. Out of his haircut.
Yeah, he's literally played his hair off his head. He's that good.
Don't forget, Ham wasn't even there the other night.
I know.
They kept saying he's their star.
And then they've got like Oren Keeley.
Yep.
Right? And now I liked Oren Keeley when he was at Newcastle, mainly because of his name.
Yeah.
And then he was just sick.
Yep.
On the weekend. Like, he was so good. Cody Nikorima has turned himself around.
Career backup. Yep.
Yeah. Jack Bostock was told that he was no good for the Dragons.
Yeah, another good decision from the Redbird.
Jermaine Ozako has turned his career around.
Yep, big time. He was
Jeremy Marshall-King.
Brilliant.
But the star of the show is a kid that they plucked from Jersey Flegg at Penrith and gave him the keys.
Yep.
Now, initially it was him and Sean O'Sullivan before they turned around and went, you know what? Sean O'Sullivan only looked good at Penrith.
Yep.
This kid's going to look good for the rest of his career.
Don't forget Milford was there too.
Yep, Milford.
Former Origin star Anthony Milford.
Grand finalist.
And this kid. And we make fun, but Milford was 5 minutes away from a best on ground medal. He was so good that night. I love this kid. I think he's one of the best footballers in the competition. Andrew Johns is wax lyrical about him. You watch the way he plays the game, and every bit of hype that Lachlan Galvin's getting should go to Katoa. And it's funny because a lot of Queenslanders are like, why don't we rush him into camp? Because he's a blue.
Yeah.
He's from Penrith, I believe.
Yeah. Let me just say this, right? If a frightening halves combination for me, and don't get me wrong, Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai should terrify every Queenslander out there. But if they both went down with COVID tomorrow and they named Isaiah Katoa and Luke Metcalf, I would absolutely be bricking it.
Yeah. There's some good,
Speed, intelligence, IQ, kicking game.
brilliant football coming through. I got to give a shout out though to Jack Bostock, who as he's running in is going 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and you could see him getting ready to put a five, and the ball hit him in the head and he dropped it. And when they went to the bench, they just all buckled. The 4 forwards, they were on. Oh, it was one of the funniest moments of the season.
Very good player. Very good team.
With the good though comes the bad.
What's the
Manly
bad?
gone. The Seagulls.
Yeah.
Gone. Dally Cherry Evans, awful footballer. Hamole Kawatu could be out for a long time, which
What did
is
he do?
horrible to see. As he's putting the ball down for that try that wasn't awarded in the end, he's dislocated his shoulder, and it wasn't a clean dislocate where they can put it back in and be like, oh, you just need to. He's done something bad in it. You see Anthony Seibold, who's not real giving in his answers, just shake his head and say he's out for a long time. They're just, I mean, Luke Brooks has just regressed to the football we all knew he was. It's a scary 3 weeks there where he was half decent. Tommy Turbo is the slowest bloke on the field, and I say that with no
And he
joke.
still made 300 metres.
He did, but so what? Like he ran to score an easy try and got bundled into touch because he's so slow. Jason Saab went round a bloke and turned in, and Turbo stuck 2 back behind 2 blokes that ran past him. He needs to move the centres. They need to put Kohler at fullback, Hopewadi, so they can go shimmy whoosh. The first thing they need to do is they need to wrestle that bloke, that Anthony Seibold. I have some Manly fans who are lunatics, right? And not in a positive or negative way. They're just like everything Manly do, 100%. They want this bloke wrestled yesterday. He's terrible, and God, I love
I think if you deliver a wooden spoon for the Brisbane Broncos, it suggests that you can't coach.
Is he going to deliver one for Manly?
Hopefully.
They're only like a win off
Manly
getting
have
dragged.
never won a wooden spoon. They deserve it.
Maybe they're saying, look, let's truly bottom out, tank for some draft picks. If they're that bad, they might think they have draft picks.
Because the Titans have now jumped off the bottom of the ladder. I think Parramatta are back at the bottom.
I think the Titans are still behind on points differential, but
Okay.
it's at the point now where one weekend could swap everything.
And it's like, going into our team, and we'll talk about that later on, but Cronulla lose on the weekend, they go from 5th to 8th.
Yeah.
Whereas if they win, they can, put pressure on the top 4.
It's ridiculous, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Dolphins, and as a proud Manly hater, I'm loving what I'm seeing from them too.
Now, let's stick with Manly here. Or a Manly player, Manly captain. Before we get into talking about this, many people years ago were saying that he's a Manly legend. Do you think that this has tarnished that?
A big time. He's still a Manly legend, but people will remember the way this ended.
I think he'll still be a Manly immortal, but yeah. Eventually, people will come around to it. But the Roosters seem to have gone a bit cold on him.
Well, wouldn't you?
No.
I think he's playing despicable footy. And this isn't a bloke who you're just bringing in and, he's playing okay footy, we'll bring him in, he'll be fine. This is a bloke who's going to upleave. It means you're going to lose Sandon Smith and potentially Hugo Savala. Now, neither of those are DCE now, but they're showing signs of there's something there. He's a bloke that's going to be $1 million. Every single press conference, the second he signs, is going to be, DCE's coming this week. Geez, he didn't next year, rather. He didn't play well this week. It's going to be a distraction. It's going to be the Cooper Cronk, whereas Cooper Cronk was like, geez, you've signed the best player. This will be, he ain't playing well. He walked out of Manly. Manly fans are cock a hoop that they're bloody signed Fogarty on half the thing. I think the Roosters should say, you know what? Go to Dolphins.
I think no. Keep him away from the Dolphins. Go to the Titans. They need a halfback.
They do, and it would be funny. But I just think that DCE 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whenever he made this decision, was so sure he was going to walk into a premiership winning team at the Roosters. Now he'd be flat chat making that Roosters side.
Yeah, if you're the Roosters, you're probably looking at it going, I know Sam Walker's injured again, but you're probably looking at it going, well, let's just keep Sammy at bay this year, and next year you go Sammy, Savala, and have Sandon Smith on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe with Connor Watson for speed, points, goal kicking, all of it, right? I think you got to go cold on him, and then just, the options for him afterwards would be probably the Titans.
Yeah, look, the Cowboys are there now.
Yeah?
I don't think they've found their halves combo. I think he and Dearden could work. But again, you got to find $1 million here, because the NRL aren't going to say, oh, you can have him for 300. They're going to say, no, he knocked back $1 million from Manly. That's his market value. Here are the offers from so-and-so teams.
Well, let's jump straight into the next one, because you're talking about market value, right? Apparently, the West Tigers offered Adam Reynolds a huge deal, And he's knocked it back for half of that at the Broncos. Now, how can one be the other? Is it because he's staying loyal to his team that they're allowing this to happen? And it's not that he's leaving? Why is it good for one but not for the other?
My belief is because of his age and his injury history.
Yeah,
they're
but
going
they're
to
the same
find a
age.
loophole. I don't like it. I don't like.
DCE is older than Adam Reynolds.
Doesn't look it. That's the eye test is my justification, and I'm not here.
Reynolds is playing better.
Yeah, he is. I'm not here to justify it. I don't think they should be able to do that. Whether they've deemed the Tigers' offers too much and his market value is what Brisbane are paying, I think if you said no salary cap, I think Adam Reynolds is more what the Tigers are offering than the Broncos.
Yeah, I would say this, right? And the reason why I don't like this is it becomes really, say Payne Haas comes off contract, Cronulla have got a lot of salary cap, they go on offer Payne Haas $2 million. Haas doesn't want to leave and he wants to sign at the Broncos for 1.2, but the NRL have to step in and go, no, your value is now $2 million because you had a $2 million offer in writing.
You're probably right. That's probably the loophole.
So I think, but I don't think that then, I don't think you can just turn around and go, well, DC is $1 million player because that's what he wants and that's what the original offer from the Roosters was.
But he had 3 offers.
Yeah, Manly,
Titans.
Roosters, Titans, right?
I think that changes it. Again, you could ring your mates at the Dragons and go, let's mess them up by offering him $1 million. You're going to sign for $1 million. Yeah, the NRL have to get this right because this could set a real bad precedent.
Yeah.
I also think that with the Bears sitting there at the end of the year...
Yeah, because if I'm Cronulla, I'm just ringing every player, offering them heaps of money and then just going, oh, no, we've pulled that. But you've got that letter.
Yeah, there's the letter. I think the Bears are going to come in and I think they're going to be able to swoop on a couple of these players. I don't know if DC is probably just too old.
Yeah.
But if he gets a 1-year deal at the Titans or something next year, I think the Bears come in and get him.
For a year.
Yep.
Yeah. 38-year-old halfback in your debut. Might as well just ring Cliff Lyons.
Bring him back. Terry,
Talk to me, Dan.
time to talk some black, white and blue.
And of course, this segment is brought to you by Win It Civil Grading.
Our
And
great mates.
The Sharks were in it to win it on Thursday night, but geez, it was ugly.
It was horrible. But we're not here to complain about a win.
No, look, if you could take that second half and bottle it all up, because that second half was 24-0.
Yep.
Impressive footy, great defence, good yardage, some nice tries. You take that.
Yep.
It's the first half that is so concerning that Cronulla can just start the game so positively and then do something so stupid as give away a penalty on the third tackle when you've got the Dragons pinned down, concede a crap try off an offload, and then just capitulate for the rest of the half.
Yes.
Knowing that, your halftime speech is, wake up, this is only the Dragons, you can go out and win this game.
Yes.
And win it they did.
They did. All correct. I know people are going to tune in for a blow-up.
Yep.
And
You'll get that on Fins Up.
you will. Now, I'm not happy with the performance. It feels like the Dragons were just really bad and we just romped them at the end. Like the match-changing try was Clint Gustin had a catch on his chest and Sloane's come in and volleyball punched it and Trindle scored. Great positioning by Trindle. It was a good kick. It was going to pin him down, but they gifted us a try. And from then, you never felt like Cronulla were really going to lose. Then Sione Katoa walks around a bloke that can't move sideways. Moses Sully, everything positive.
How's the
I said about
baseball
him.
slide for the second try as well?
Katoa was fantastic.
Yeah, he
it's
was
the best
awesome.
game he's played in a long time, and huge raps to him. The Dragons were they were dog shit. Let's face it. And anyone going, oh yes, see, like we beat the Dragons, 10 wins in a row, which is pretty darn good to beat anyone. But anyone who thinks that makes the last few weeks acceptable, okay, papers over some cracks because we're sitting here talking about a win, and I don't want to bag them too much because they did win very comfortably. But if anyone's going to sit here in the comments and say that was a acceptable performance and we've turned a corner, you're going to get a
No. Look, the second half, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
First half, 3 out of 10.
3.
Overall, 6 out of 10.
Last week, we joked about how the Sharks never boo their team off or how it'd been so long. And Cronulla put up with some filth across the years. We're a pretty fan base, but we never really turn on the team. They deserve to get booed off at halftime.
Yeah, they really did. I think the performance in the first half was just unacceptable. The first try came off the offload and he just literally ran around 7 people, right?
Someone pointed out to me, this has happened, I think it was Vossi, pointed out that when the players are held, our blokes turn and run back. And that's 3 or 4 times they've been caught off. Run backwards. It's not that hard.
Yeah. The second try, I know Britton Nickera is called out. He's called out offside, but you're there.
Make the tackle.
Just tackle him and give away the 6. It's the fucking Dragons.
Spot on.
If you can't hold them out for another 6 tackles, or know that they're going to drop the ball on the 3rd tackle anyway, or Kyle Flanagan's going to put up a crap kick, like, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I turn around and think that our halves are not the smartest halves in the world, but Kyle Flanagan bombed Ronaldo Mulatalo all night.
Yep.
Right? You've got 6'3", 5'8".
Yep. You can't see.
5'8".
He
Just go and bomb him.
Yes.
But the issue I take for the second try is Nickera's there. He's been called out. Just give the 6 again away, mate.
Spot on. That's what the
Because he missed him. Kafusi missed him. Everyone else missed him. Will Kennedy missed him. But Will Kennedy's the one copping all the grief for not stopping the try. It's a metre away from the try line. He ain't going to stop him. The onus is on Britton Nickera.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
All 3 tries were garbage.
Well, I mean, the Jack DeBellin try, mate, they just pinned us for numbers because we were a man down.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I thought they played pretty well, but again, you shouldn't be in a position where one we had them on toast.
Yeah.
Nico just dropped the ball, and then we gave away a penalty, and Ramian later on him for a week and got sin bin.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't happen. One, because they shouldn't be dropping that ball. 2, it's the Dragons. They should be 30 up by the time that happens. It was a deplorable first 40. We came out and we didn't start particularly well. Then you got into the game and they scored the try. And then Sione scored, and then you're like, okay, here we go. And I never really felt in danger of losing, but at halftime, you and I were very clear in saying that if we keep playing like this, the Dragons are going to win this game.
Yeah. I don't have as much confidence as you, and I'll tell you this on the stream that we did, which was very enjoyable, that at halftime I thought we were done.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like 25-6 and you're going to be absolutely embarrassed going off the field, and we would have found ourselves in 7th spot.
Yeah. The only reason I wasn't is because the Flegg game before, we were leading 10-6 or whatever it is at halftime, and ran in an absolute mountain of points running that way. So I was convinced there was a big win behind
it. Turns out there was.
Now, we weren't watching with the sound. We had it turned down for the stream, and anyone who wants to jump in, we'll try and do it again at another time. Really fun, thanks heaps. So we were just sort of guessing, but it just looked like there was a wind, and then we've quickly turned it up, and then people have jumped in and said the wind's picked up. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But the Dragons were just terrible, and they invited us back in the game. Yes, it's a win. Yes, it's something to build on, and I feel much better for it, but it's not very good, which leads us into an injury during the game that may unlock something that we've called not for in the past. Moini Hiroti went down injured, stayed on 20 minutes, looked injured, and then went off. The talk is he went in injured.
Why?
I think there's a salary cap issue.
I've said it.
And I 100% agree with you, but I thought, yeah, there's ways around that. But for us to put a bloke who was obviously toast going in is either, oh, we'll just get past the Dragons, don't worry about it. We don't trust Sifa Talakai to centre, which worked really well, and I think that's what we'll see for the next few weeks. I don't rate the blokes. Michael Gabriel was named and pulled late, so we have info that he's hurt. Chris Vaiola's been in and out. We think he's hurt. But there has to be someone there that you can put in who can play the 80 minutes, who isn't injured. But then you got to pay the match payments.
Well, I had a look at this, right? If they're on the minimum wage, it is the match payments.
Yep.
So Vailoa is on, you would assume, the minimum wage. So I'm with you. I think it's the cap issue. I think it's the fact that we've already used something like 25, 26 players this year that we're probably looking at it going, we're close to the cap. And you'd probably hope these injuries were happening later on in the year.
Yeah, when you can. You can go for dispensation, which the NRL won't give us because we've named Dan Atkinson at centre in the past. They'll say, we have to name Dan Atkinson.
I'll throw up another name. If we don't trust Sifa Talakai's lateral movement, and knowing that we're coming up against the Broncos and that left centre is Katoni Staggs, Britton Nickera.
I would be doing that for 1 week, and I put Billy Burns in.
I would happily put Sifa on the other side of the field.
Yeah, well, Talakai could work.
Yeah.
I have nightmares about how easily Katoni Staggs took Talakai apart when
Valence Taware did it. Imagine what Katoni Staggs going to do.
Exactly, and he's coming off a real good game before the break, and Talakai was at the peak of his powers in the centre. That was a game that made everyone think, maybe you can't do it in a defence. I think we're going to see either Talakai or Atkinson name there. Now, Dan Atkinson dropped off the bench during the week, and this is what really worries me. The talk was he was injured. He wasn't at the captain's run or didn't partake, and then he had a toe injury or something. I don't know.
Was he
I'm not in the club.
Man, or was it
He
Tukes?
was named 18th man. Now, they cut Tukes early. 19th man was Hohepapuru, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If they had to put Hohepapuru on, how much cap trouble are we in? Like, to
Maybe-
not name this kid and a bloke who's injured when Toby went in under a cloud and, can find a HIA.
Yeah, and look, Toby, to his credit, his runs looked really good.
Yeah.
He was gassed.
Of course, yeah, I mean,
He was gassed.
It's always gas. But let's talk about the bench.
Yeah.
Atkinson finally fell off, and nothing against him, but he wasn't being used in a role. I thought Toby Rudolph played exceptionally well when he came on. Wasn't required to play huge minutes, but I did like what he did. Talakai had to move out left, so we lost him in the rotation. I actually think when Fitz doesn't have to worry about a rotation, we play better. Saw it against Melbourne.
Yeah.
When he's thinking, I got to stick to someone for 7 minutes because that was the plan before. He just played it by ear. I think Kafusi's playing about 45 minutes more than he should. That should be 0 because he's hopeless. But I thought he got exactly right with him. I thought Colholm played exceptionally well off the bench.
I thought you really was good off the bench.
There you go. I think that's the way forward. I think we have to get someone injured to take it out of Fitz's hands.
Yeah, look, I was happy to see the 4 forwards on the bench. What I was kind of hoping was going to happen was Rudolph in for Uele and Hohepapuru in for Atkinson.
We might as well give up on it.
Yeah, we might as well. If I'm Hohepapuru now, I'm
Bring Newcastle.
Yeah,
they need a
I'm
forward.
looking.
They're sniffing around multiple forwards of ours. Hohepa's going to put his hand up. And you know what we're going to say? We can't stop
Yeah,
you,
we
mate.
can't stop. Yeah, and then you've got to promote someone anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly right. So all is not well, but it's better. But next week we look to the Broncos, who are going to be Origin affected in that players may miss or they're going to come back after playing big minutes in Perth on a Sunday. So it's not a short turnaround, it's an easy turnaround. I'd prefer him to be at full strength.
yeah, look, Maguire has turned around and said that the players coming back from Perth will be assessed before. Like they'll be named, but they'll be assessed, and he's going to name a 23-man bench.
That's smart. That's fine.
But you'd imagine Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan are going to play
55, 60.
big minutes. So maybe one of them doesn't play or one of them starts on the bench.
I want them both there because I want Cronulla going in thinking, we can't beat them. We got to be at our best. Then cool, they got their best 2 forwards in the game out.
Sunday afternoon in Brisbane with the heat as well. This is it's a big test for Cronulla. You lose this game, you're probably 8th.
Potentially.
You win this game and you're solid in 5th.
Yeah. It's a huge game. We'll break it down on Fins Up.
The Dolphins are playing Newcastle at home as well, so you'd have to imagine that's going to be another shellacking. Their for and against is now like 150.
There'll be 250 after this week. But those that then people have asked, so we can't put a link in down below because it sees it as spam. So the Fins Up podcast on Spotify and Apple.
Even if you just
check
go
our-
on Spotify and just put Fins Up, it's the first thing that comes
and
up.
check both our outside the Dan at whatever Terry's at this week. But, get it on if you can, and don't forget to subscribe because the numbers are up. And
Please do. And we're going to do another watch along, maybe this Sunday.
yeah, potentially.
Mate, I've got nothing on.
Me neither.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for some tips.
It is, and we're back. We're back to a full round of football.
4 rounds of football. We've only got one more stupid short round to go.
Oh, yay!
Yay.
Around the 7.
Damn it!
Yeah.
It's around the 7.
Oh,
Boo.
but we get a Thursday game because the
Oh,
kids are playing
Yeah, the what?
the New South Wales under 20s.
Oh yeah, they are. That's good. And we've got Nicola Williams, and we've got Payne Stanley Latu.
Yeah.
Peyton Stanley Latu.
You'll be able to, so watch out for them in the big game.
in the Queensland.
Blues in both.
Two
So, yeah,
centres. 2 centres. So Friday night, the Tigers hosting high-flying Raiders.
Yeah, at their spiritual home of Campbelltown. It's going to be a cold, horrible.
Yeah, now look, you'd have to imagine that Jerome Luai won't back up 48 hours after travelling from Perth.
That's a tough ask.
That is a really tough ask. Now, luckily, Lachlan Galvin will slot.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
They had him, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You know what I think happens in this game?
The Raiders kill them. Mm-hmm. I'm not tipping.
Yeah, no, you're not getting out of
No,
it.
I'm going the Raiders in this one.
Canberra.
Will be a fun game, though, because I enjoy watching the Raiders score lots of tries.
That's true. They are a fun team to watch.
They are. Side note, Ricky Stewart's son will make his debut in this game because Hot Tamale is out for 12 weeks.
Oh.
Jed Stewart will start on the wing for the Canberra Raiders.
That's pretty cool. I like
That is pretty cool. Super Saturday kicks off with the Warriors hosting the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, should be. The
Yeah,
Panthers are in red hot form.
No Panthers player is backing up. Ivan Cleary's already confirmed that.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
That is a long trip to go from Perth to New
Yeah.
Zealand.
We'd have to imagine.
It's 8 hours.
You'd have to imagine Kate Wall's not going to either. The Warriors.
Sure.
No, not that that's a.
Not that
It's not comparable.
He doesn't even deserve to be playing
just
Origin
saying.
rather than first grade. Regardless of whether they'll play or not, I'm picking the Warriors.
Yeah,
mate.
the Warriors are home.
What I saw from the Warriors against us and what I've seen from the Warriors in their games most recently, you can't convince me that they're not one of the best teams in the comp. I
Pretty
think
good football team.
Penrith are, whilst they're getting back to their best, this
Not
is
there yet? Yeah, I agree.
this
Look,
is
well, I'll go against you in a few. Not this one.
not this one.
I'm taking the Dolphins in this next
Oh,
game.
so am I. The Dolphins versus the Knights. You can't pay me enough. Now, this is also good as well because the Dolphins are nipping at the heels of the Sharks. Every time I tip the Dolphins, they lose.
Yep.
Although I did tip the Dolphins on the weekend, and they put 58 on
There
the
you go.
Cowboys.
That had to be.
I'm not picking the
now,
Knights.
unfortunately, they're playing Newcastle, who will probably be without Ponga because they're always without Ponga.
Yeah.
Fletcher, what's his face, might be out too. The other Fletcher's a pretty good player. Not Dylan Lucas is in Origin camp too.
Yep.
Now it is in Perth.
Yes.
I don't know how that affects
Oh, so Ponga might
at
play.
all.
And then you'd imagine that
You reckon he rolls out of bed for a day?
and then the Dolphins players might
Yeah.
back up as well. How
Well,
many
it's-
back up?
Dolphins by
I don't
30.
care. Dolphins by 50 again.
Yeah.
Because they're scoring so many tries. Then they're scoring fun tries as well.
They are.
Yeah.
And Newcastle can't score any tries.
Yeah. So let's go Dolphins. The final game of our Super Saturday is the Bunnies hosting the Storm.
I don't see what's so super about it.
Well,
They can have a team to run out. There's 3 more injuries.
for the Bunnies.
Yeah, Colin Matangi's gone, Gray's gone, and there was another player. Sullivan's gone.
And then
Lewis Dodd still won't play.
Tallis Duncan also as well
Oh,
with an eye injury,
Jeez
and
Louise.
Munro collarbone again.
Oh, dog.
So I don't know if they're
It's
going
all
to
right. It's only Melbourne.
Yeah, it's only Melbourne now. Cam Munster, you'd imagine, won't back up.
Yeah, probably.
Cool. So they're just going to put that next superhero Tyrone Wishart in there.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, Melbourne will kill him.
Heaps.
I'm not going against you again.
Super Saturday
Yeah,
indeed.
this is well, let's just keep it together.
Let's keep it.
Now the Broncos are hosting the Sharks. Now you picked the Sharks, I picked the Dragons,
Cool. Well, I'll stick with the Sharks.
and I'm going to pick the Broncos.
Yep, with zero
Safety
confidence.
first. Yeah,
Love it.
Again, it's just going to be who backs up. Cronulla have no Origin players, which is cool.
Smart.
The Broncos have lots of Origin players, which is cool.
Yep. Smart.
Broncos.
Sharks.
The Roosters. Now, we didn't. I know we spoke about the Roosters with Daly Cherry Evans, but we didn't talk about the form that they're in at the moment. They're in really good form.
They are. They did have that huge loss sandwiched between the wins, but yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, look, I don't mind it because it seems the more players they're missing, the better they play.
That's true.
Now, they're playing the Cowboys in Sydney.
Yep.
I
I think Radley's out again, another HIA failure.
well, see, he didn't fail it. They just didn't put him back on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he didn't fail he passed his
Yeah.
HIA, but they just didn't put him back
No,
on.
fair enough. That's good to see. Look, this could be fun.
The Cowboys have to bounce back.
Cowboys are desperate.
They're 4 against now minus 90.
Ooh, you take Scott Drinkwater out of that team, they probably don't score a point,
Yeah,
and they won't score many on the night.
I don't know who to pick. Who are you picking?
Roosters. Go the Cows, do it.
Yeah, I'll do it for charity. Go on the Cowboys. I'll give $1 up here.
Yeah, that is charity.
And the final game of the round sucks. It's the Eels and the Titans. I'm
Put a
picking the
line
Titans.
through both these teams.
I'm picking the Titans. Titans, they're on the high.
Yes.
AJ Brimson always loved him.
Yeah, absolutely. You can check the tape. Yeah, I'm going the Titans too. You can't get me to tip Parramatta.
No.
They got no halves this week.
Yeah, I know. There was an interesting thing that they're going to see life without
Dylan Brown.
Dylan Brown with Joash. What is it?
Josh Papali.
Joash
yeah.
Papali being named.
He's a
in the
good young
6.
kid.
Yeah, and is Dean Hawkins in the 7?
Yeah. So it's a good audition, I suppose. But this game,
Yeah, if Zach Lomax doesn't play,
oh,
then it's going to be the Titans. But look, we said at the beginning of the year, the Titans score 40 points, but they concede 60. That's
Yep.
their problem.
don't
I'll
concede
take the
60.
Titans.
Titans.
Everyone, thank you for tuning into another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Don't you think about it. Look, please, if you can, get onto all the live streams that we're doing. We're really enjoying ourselves at the moment. All the content's really good. Tom Brady!